Network. Welcome to Maple Leafs Forever, the post-game show, post-game Game 3 between the Leafs and Lightning. And like me and Billy talked about, the Maple Leafs will never lose again. Right, Billy? 4-3 overtime victory. Morgan Riley, the goal. But the best player on the ice for the Maple Leafs, for the first half, he did not play. Matthew Knives, and Marty Roberts, Justin Hall, almost scoring, hitting the goalpost in overtime. I'll give it to you first, Marty. What do you see? If Justin Hall won, you would have partied like it was 1999, wouldn't you?
If he had scored the overtime winner there, the Maple Leafs are winning the Stanley Cup. That's all I had to say is if he scored that overtime winner, the Leafs are winning the Stanley Cup. You know what? I'll tell you, this is why they went out and got Ryan O'Reilly for what he did today. Wins that face-off there in overtime to get it back to Riley to score the goal. He scores the goal to tie it up with 6 men on ice. That's why they went out and got this guy. A buddy of mine messaged me from St. Louis. He says, "You're welcome."
Well, also, we got to talk, and Billy, maybe you want to talk about, everybody's talking about the goaltending. If it wasn't for Samsonov, there would not be overtime.
Nice to see you guys. Another riveting edition of the. Are we on Mometu? What's a Mometu? Is that correct?
Yeah,
so
this is going. Hold on. I want you better to say Ruku. We're on Ruku.
Ruku. It's just awfully nice. It's awfully nice to be part of a fan base that is still in the playoffs. So unlike some other guys, there's a lot of Montreal fans, a couple potato heads like Pittsburgh. It's just great to be a Leaf fan. It's great to be in the thick of things. It's great to have such an unbelievable star-studded roster, and it's a real privilege just to watch arguably one of the greatest teams that the Greeks ever laid his eyes on this big blue machine. Looks like they're rolling all the way to the Stanley Cup. And as I mentioned, Joseph, and obviously you heard, it was in the bag from the beginning. Never in doubt. Leafs in 5. I told you from the beginning of the series.
All right, hold on.
Leafs in 5. It's that simple. Game 4, Joe and Marty. Even though half and just Marty will agree. Game 4, the Leafs got a big opportunity to put their foot right on Tampa Bay's, right on Marty Roberts' throat. I'm going to put my foot if I ever catch him with his head down in the corners at Ted Reeve Arena.
All right, but you know what? We talked about, Ryan O'Reilly. We talked about Hall. We talked about Morgan Riley. But, one guy who needs to step up, and you know where I'm going with this, Billy, you'll start us off, is number 34. Number 34, for a guy who's been top 5 player. He wasn't top 5 player today.
If you take a look, and to be quite honest, if you look at the back half of that both the second, third period, Knives was the more dangerous player of the two. And when Austin Matthews, when you put both teams together, is the 9th, 10th most dangerous player on the ice, that's unacceptable. This guy's got to take his game to another level. I haven't seen Austin Matthews play like Austin Matthews. So the question you ask yourself, is he hurt, number one? Or number two, is this just who he is, right? Again, we're talking about a guy that scored the opening goal of the game for Toronto, or the second goal, whatever the case is. But again, the shift-to-shift presence to me was something that makes me wonder what the guy's long-term future is in Toronto.
Marty, you want to elaborate on that? What do you think? Everybody knows that he's American. He may want to play in Arizona. He may want to go to New York. What do you say?
Well, I said the other day too when I think it was the second goal that Tampa scored late in the game. Matthews was just coasting back, and it showed again tonight. He was doing the same stuff. Yes, he scored a goal. Yes, if you want to base stuff on scoring goals means you played a great game, he played a hell of a game then. But unfortunately, that's not the case. You got to play a full game. He got in a fight. Huggins Stamkos' leg at the end of it. So I don't know. To me, the top line did not play as they should be playing as a top line. You know a guy who really impressed me today, and I liked him, and I know Billy likes him too, and Joe, you like him too. Luke Schenn.
Luke Schenn
really, really shows up. He doesn't take any BS. He stood in between the benches when crap was going on. He's not backing down from anyone. He'll stay there and do what's supposed to be done. And that's what the Leafs were missing. And they went out and got him and guys like McCabe that have made a difference back there in front of that net. And it's nice to see. I really like Luke Schenn. Hopefully they can get him signed for, next year or the year after. But Luke Schenn, to me, has played really solid in the first 3 games of this series.
So having said that, Marty, could you also suggest that finally, when we're talking about trade deadlines and guys that make a difference in the playoffs, the Leafs have come up snake eyes in terms of the last 2 years. If you want to go back to who, you can go back to Foligno, you can go further back. They've made late season additions that have been unsuccessful. Can you argue the point? This is finally the time that Dubas looks like he hit the mark with some of the acquisitions. And obviously O'Reilly, as you mentioned off the top, he's got a pedigree. This guy's a winner, and he proves as a winner. Comes up in the biggest spots. He's a guy that, again, is not the flashiest of guys, not the best foot speed, but he finds himself always in the middle. And as a commentator said on TV, which I found kind of to be spot on, is he's a safe player and a guy that you can trust, and a guy that comes up big in big spots. The same thing with Luke Schenn. Absolutely. There was that one play where he got in a scuffle and he pushed the guy all the way to the boards. Like, he's a strong man. Yep. That guy's an ox, right? And again, obviously,
Achari also.
Achari, they added Lafferty, they added O'Reilly. They made some nice moves at the trade deadline. Now, luckily, they all stayed pretty much healthy, so that's a bonus here too. Yes, Dubas years past has made moves and the guys got hurt, but this team with those guys like Achari, Billy and me have talked before about this. We really like this guy, and look, he goes out and scores. I think he scored the first goal tonight. Did he not?
Yeah, he did.
I think he scored. So Achari does his job. You got O'Reilly there. You know what? There's some things still they got to clean up. Like, they had one shot in the third period up until the 15-minute mark of that period. That has to change. When you got guys like Matthews and Tavares and Nylander like shooting the puck, you got to fire the puck on net.
Hold on, Marty. Here's the thing. Devil's advocate. Here's what somebody would argue. You won a hockey game. A road hockey game against the would-be 3-time Stanley Cup finalists and champions without top efforts from your core guys in Nylander, Tavares, even Matthews. He scored a goal, but you still won a game without those guys being those guys, which is a testament again to the bottom 6, right? Your bottom 6 a lot stronger. This is a game last year. If Matthews and Willie and the rest of the guys are playing the same game they did last year, the Leafs do not win this hockey game a year ago or 2 years ago. But finally, they got depth that can withstand subpar efforts from some of their better players. You stole one today. You stole one.
And two more things.
Sorry, Joe, but hold on. But if you're watching that third period, correct me if I'm wrong, I had no belief that the Leafs are going to score a goal. Like, I didn't think the next one's going in. No way, no how. Like, in that third period. Did you guys think Vasilevsky would be beat? I thought that was going to end 3-2, no doubt about it. And all it takes is one guy, and again, that's Ryan O'Reilly to put one in the back of the net in the series. Series is flipped upside down.
To add to that point, what did they get now, or that they didn't get last year, in 2 years, 5 years? A save when they need the save. When they needed a save, Samsonov was there. The shots on goal, Billy, maybe, or Marty, you want to watch the shots on goal? It was like 35-18 or something like that. Samsonov in overtime made a great save there. He gave them in the game when they needed a save. He was there. He was there. And kudos to Morgan Rielly. Everybody on during the season was on this guy. Game 2, he had 4 assists. Today, he scores the game-winning goal in overtime. Come on. And miraculously, Victor Hagman, what is wrong with this guy? He plays 40 minutes after, he may not be back for the entire series.
And you can tell right off the top, before Marty jumps in, you can tell what a difference that is with Hedman on the team. It's like night and day with that Tampa Bay team. You take Hedman out, they're dead in the water. You can see what a difference he makes all over the ice. As for the goaltender, Marty, anybody that's watched this game has the same thought. Giordano was a weak pickup. The rest were good. Well, Giordano has his moments. That guy's almost in a retirement home. He's 40. So cut the guy a break. He's almost 40. Anyways, yeah, he didn't have his best game. But again, some of your core guys don't have the best game and you still win. That means you're a little deeper than you used to be. But as for the goaltender, for the first period and a half, like you're thinking that this guy's once again going to be the problem. And the funny thing is, it looked like he gained more traction and confidence as the game went on. And by overtime, you got the feeling, right, that nothing was going to beat him. Nothing was going to beat him unless you get one of those bounces and ricochets. And it's interesting how and that's why we love professional sports. You think that this guy's the shakiest thing ever, and then by the third period, he becomes God, man. Only in playoff hockey can you get stuff like that.
And you know what? When you're talking about, we got that save from Samsonov. Usually, this game wouldn't have gone to overtime because Vasilevsky makes that save on O'Reilly, but he left a little bit too much space between his elbow and the side of his rib cage for that puck to slide. Usually, Vasilevsky closed it out, so that was the difference. Samsonov came up big when was needed. Vasilevsky didn't. And here's something that drives me nuts, and I know they teach it all the time, and it never used to be taught like that. That game-winning goal by Riley 10 years ago probably doesn't go in because it hits him in the chest. Yeah. But goalies now are taught to go down, and even Vasilevsky being a big boy, it still went up over top of his shoulder, right? So that's the way things are now. These goal scorers know, shoot the puck high. Goalies are going down.
You know,
that's what happened there.
Sometimes, Marty, just sometimes the puck, man, it's a little bit of puck luck. It just had eyes. It just had the Leaf eyes tonight for you to find the back of the net. And again, if you wanted to break it down for one simple thing, the Leafs won this game because they got a better bottom six than they've ever had in their past 6-7 playoff failures. It's pretty simple.
To be honest with you, yes, the bottom six, but the entire team, the goalie, Justin Hall almost scored.
Yeah, the entire team except Big Austin scored the goal. Except Big Austin. Willie was okay, 7 shots. Again, I saw some glimpses of Willie that reminded me of who he was along the wall a couple of years ago, but give him the benefit of the doubt. Tavares was invisible today for the most part, right? But again,
-3 as well.
Yeah, again, not his best games. But the beautiful thing is, and it's awesome to see, Knives looked more like Matthews than Matthews today. For a little beer, you know how we see Matthews, some of the movement, stick handles, the shiftiness. That's what Knives was showing in the set, and which bodes well not only for the Leafs.
I guess we're sort of lucky then that the Leafs didn't put in Simmons for Knives, then, right, Joseph?
Here's the question.
We were not talking about Simmons for Knives. Don't be silly. Don't insult. Hold on, Joe. I got to stick up for you a second. This is Marty.
We can go back on the tape.
No, don't ever talk to the president. This is on Mometu TV, pal. All right? Don't ever talk to Double J like that. He never said that. That's a flat-out lie.
Really. This guy Knives is not going out after tonight. He should never go out of the lineup. No. So Bunting,
you know what, Joe? You're right. It's going to be interesting when Bunting comes back after next game. What do the Leafs do? They leave him out, or do they send someone else to sit in the stands? I don't know. To me, if they're winning, you can't put Bunting back in and take someone out if they've won 3 in a row by the time he comes back in. They just can't.
And you can't take him out for Achari. Lafferty was good also. You can't take him out. So who are you going to take him out for?
The only one I could see them doing it for
is Austin Reeves.
Is Zach Aston Reese.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. That's the only guy I can see them doing it for, and he's doing an okay job.
Yeah,
but that's the only guy I can see them doing it for.
All right. So, like Billy said, Game 4, Monday, 7:30. just prior here on the Fired Up Network and Mometu and the Greeks page.
Mometu.
Billy show with Norm Rumack, and Billy has an outstanding panel on Monday. Go ahead, Billy.
Well, very, very pleased to have a personal friend. I guess I can call. I'm going to ask him on air if I can call him a friend. I think maybe it's one of those guys because I text him and he only gives one-word answers in return. I say, listen, how you doing? How's the family? How's everything? Would you be willing to come on the show on Monday? It'd be nice to see you. He goes, yes. And that's it. So I don't know. I'm gonna get to.
But
Maybe
North
he's just
America's
bored.
not a
Maybe he's
brand.
bored. Maybe he's bored, Billy.
I'm gonna
He's
get to
just
ask
bored.
Mr. I'm gonna get to ask Mr. Rod Black off the top from 6 to 6:30. We're gonna catch up with him, former face of the NBA, CFL. That guy's called everything under the sun. And when it comes to, we use the word icon a lot, but he qualifies in some respects, right? Even though. Yeah, we'll get into some other stuff later. And then on the back half of the show, one of Marty's favorites and one of my favorites too. He signs the paycheck, and that's Big Billy O'Donnell, the Magic Man from COSA, the harness industry, the president of COSA. So I've worked with him for the better part of 4 years now, and he's never been on. So he's awfully excited to come on. So we're going to chat with him, and he's going to give us the lowdown on what's going on in the harness industry. Plus, we'll recap some of his most notable achievements throughout a stellar Hall of Fame career. So excited for that. That's Monday at 6 p.m. Thanks, Joe, for that. But let's forget about that. Here's what's going to happen Monday, Joe.
Hold on. Special starts.
The Leafs in 5, Joe.
Let's get to something else here. Other scores in the National Hockey League. What a game in Winnipeg. Double overtime. The Jets losing to Vegas 5-4, but they were down 4-1. Marty, you want to talk about that? The crowd.
Yeah, there was another one where through 2 periods, Winnipeg had 8 shots.
Yeah.
Like, you got to shoot the puck to score goals, right? And then they finally figured it out in the 3rd period. They scored 3 goals to tie it up. Unfortunately, they lost in overtime, but at least that team goes as far as Hellebuck will take them. That's what happens there. Morrissey's now out. He's out for the series. Maybe if they make it on, maybe the rest of the playoffs with it looks like a knee injury. It sort of looked like it was knee on knee. Yeah. But you know what? To come back, here's something for you. When you're going to call and have a whiteout in the arena, should your team not be wearing white as well?
No.
And not the visiting team wearing the white?
No.
I don't know. Just me. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
One game, Vegas went to overtime. The Leafs went to overtime. Guess what? New Jersey and the Rangers are 1-1 in overtime.
Well,
overtime.
That's not a surprise, Joe. Should it not be the surprise for those that have historically both followed NHL hockey and more specifically from a gambling perspective? Game 3 is an awful big swing game. And usually after the first 2 games, if you're looking to play prop bets and if you're looking for games to go the extra past 60 minutes, Game 3 is your spot. Game 3 and Game 4, depending on where you go, historically are riddled with overtime games. So no surprise there.
All right, so let's get to a small preview of Game 4 between the Maple Leafs and Tampa Bay Lightning happening Monday, 7:30. All right, like Billy said about 5 minutes ago, this is the Maple Leafs' chance to put the leg on Marty's throat. All right, to put or like Billy said, for Draymond Green to pump a guy on the chest and finish Tampa Bay once and for all. Billy, I'll go to you.
You know what? Again, thank God, man. I was really sweating. I didn't want to look like a fool calling Toronto in 5, and then
that's the only reason why you went quiet, and then they score. We get a text message just as a big letter.
Yes, but here's what I tell you. So you know what? You can make the argument. Tampa Bay outplayed you for probably 60% of that game. And you snuck out a win. You snuck out a win without Matthews, probably without Marner, probably without Tavares. And you won a game, right? You won that game. So again, I look for Toronto to come out in Game 4 and really, really put one on them. And here's the reason why. Because I believe the biggest thing to come out of this game was the goaltender and his confidence moving forward for Game 4, right? He's got it now. He felt it in the 2nd period. He felt it in the 3rd, and he felt it in overtime. So he's not coming in Game 4 a little bit wobbly off the beginning with some nerves. He's coming in full confidence right from the hop. And for me, you know what that means? Tampa Bay is in big. And I'm not just saying this because of a Leaf fan. This is kind of like probably as factual as I could be. Tampa Bay's in big trouble. Toronto steps on him. I believe Toronto beats them anywhere from 5 to 6-2 in Game 4, so somewhere in that area.
Let me ask you this: how is it that a game goes overtime, Leafs win, and 2 out of 3 stars from Tampa?
It's Again, who was that? I didn't see the stars of the game. The first star would
be. What they have up is O'Reilly, Hagel, and Radish.
Probably, you know what? If you wanted to pick another star from the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? Really, it'd have to be Samsonov, absolutely. But for Samsonov, for half
picked by the home team picks it and in Tampa. So
that's the biggest issue I have. Like, no point in having stars if they're not going to pick them the proper way. You see this a lot in the OHL. You go to a game, team will lose 5-0. All 3 stars are from the team that lost 5-0 because it's their home game. Don't pick them if you're not going to do them right.
Leave it to you to find the most obscure little fact to cause a conundrum in the middle of the playoffs, man. You're concerned about who the Tampa Bay's calling for the third star, man.
100%. I got to pay attention to this because I know that if I don't, there's going to be some statistical person that will write into Joe and say we're a bunch of morons. So I figured I'd cover all the bases.
For a guy who likes Pittsburgh, he's a bandwagon Maple Leaf jumper if there ever was. Look at his background, Billy. Look at his background. He has Nylander went back when he was number 29. Come on.
But here's the issue with Marty. Obviously, you got to forgive him for his affinity and love with Pittsburgh. Marty's a couple years older than me, so he grew up in a time where the Maple Leafs were known to have half their fans with garbage bags over their heads, right? So that's when Marty got accustomed to Maple Leaf hockey. We lost him a long time ago, but obviously he's got a soft spot for the Buds. It doesn't really hurt him when they lose that much, but he's still got a soft spot for him. If you asked him deep down, he probably likes Toronto more than Pittsburgh, but he's just putting on this.
How many people do you think are watching the show with garbage bags on their head?
I can probably see a couple.
So, Marty, Billy gave a preview of Game 4. What do you say? What's going to happen in Game 4?
Well, I can't. Like Billy said, you got that number 1 line that didn't really play as a number 1 line today. So, if they come out in Game 4 and play the way they're capable of playing, this is going to be coming back to Toronto with them up 3-1. There's no question. Samsonov is playing.
What are you going to say? Here. Hold on. What are you going to say when Toronto?
When Billy and I say they were winning 5 games.
What do you got? I want you, Marty. give me a kind of a rendition. Hold on now. Let me get a word in here. Give me kind of something you would say after the whistle, 60 minutes in Game 5 and the Greek call Game 5. You mocked them a little bit. You made a couple of disparaging texts here and there. What would you kind of say to this guy right here?
I wouldn't have to say anything because you'd be texting me and talking to me the whole time, and I wouldn't able to get a word in edgewise. That's for sure. I wouldn't hear. You would take out an ad in the newspaper just to say you were right.
You know what? Here's you know what? When I should take an ad out in the paper, if I'm ever wrong, man, everything I say comes true, man. It's wow. If you want to, there's a lot of people, obviously. Detlef, our good friend Detlef out there that watches who can religiously get. You know what? Some people, I guess, it offends the fact that I'm like borderline genius, that I'm a visionary. They call me a Marty, obviously, Mr. Mometu over here, right? So obviously some people
if we could just get you to win a few baseball games at East York, things might be all right.
Some people obviously don't like guys that are beautiful, smart, talented, and got biceps like that. What can I tell you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's my second favorite Greek. All right. By the way, we have Lakers are destroying Memphis, and Ja Morant is playing 52-24. 52-24 for the Lakers right there. So I just keep you updated with basketball and all that. But I want to talk on one other team or one other series. Marty, you'll start us off. Edmonton Oilers and Los Angeles Kings. All right? Like I said to you so many times, Edmonton, the Toronto West. They don't have the goalie. They have the best player. They have the second best player and everything like that. If they lose tomorrow, what is the GM of Edmonton going to do when they're probably going to lose in 6?
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange over there, right? To me, I thought that was the easiest series out of all of them was Edmonton against the Kings. And Edmonton has led, I believe, in all 3 of those games and are down 2-1. I don't, finally McDavid's got on the score sheet, scoring 2 goals the other day, but they're not don't look very sound as a team. They really don't. There's times where they look really good, and then there's times that they look off. Draisaitl looks good 1 second and not the next second. I don't know what to expect there. I thought they would already be up, in this series, they'd be the ones that'd be up. I thought 3-0 they should be up. But if they lose, there's some heads that are going to roll. There might be some big changes in Edmonton if they don't win. Because you got McDavid, you got Draisaitl, you signed Kane, Heyman.
We call him Hyman over here in Toronto.
That's right, Jewish boy. Come on,
we call him Hyman.
They got to make some, like, you got Nugent Hopkins that made his best season yet as what, a 30 whatever old. There'll be some changes there if they don't get out of that first round. That is a for sure.
Billy?
Edmonton has been the best team probably for the majority of the 100. If you broke it down to 180 plus the overtime 190 minutes, Edmonton's probably been the better team in 115 to 120 of those minutes. They're down 2-1. LA's a very pesky team, and the key to beating the Edmonton Oilers is simple. You got to stay out of the penalty box. McClellan's got those guys playing a game where Edmonton's extremely dangerous. If it's a special teams game, if they get 5-6 power plays, they're going to beat you, right? If LA stays out of the box and that game's played 5-on-5 with guys like Kopitar and then checking, you see McDavid hadn't scored a goal in the first 2 games, and that's not by coincidence. LA can check. LA didn't get 103 points because they fell off a turnip truck, those 20 guys, right? They got a lot of guys that can play over there, both in the back end. Goaltender Korpisalo is not too bad either. So the key for LA, again, is to stay out of the box. But you figure that these Edmonton Oilers, as Marty mentioned, these Edmonton Oilers got a lot to lose. So you got to figure that the game 4, they're gonna come out and compete and play the best game possible. And they're going into that game in LA probably minus 170, 180 favorites, heavy favorites. And you would imagine that the score would resemble the play at the end of the game, and Edmonton would win. But again, stranger things have happened, right? Even if it goes down 3-1, Edmonton's not done, right? They get the home game. All you got to do is win 1 game in LA to win that series. So still a lot of series to go. They're still early.
All right, let's talk about tomorrow's games in the NHL. Let's first start off 1 o'clock. Billy, 1 o'clock NHL playoff game. We'll wake up early. Marty, put the alarm clock on. Carolina, Islanders. Carolina up 2-1. Billy, you'll start us off.
Hold on, I got something going on. Go ahead, Marty. Start us off.
We're talking Carolina. You know what? I thought the Islanders would have won yesterday, which they did. I expect Carolina, though, to come out tomorrow. Carolina, I think, is just too rounded of a team that to lose back-to-back games to New York Islanders. Islanders are a good defensively minded team. They're not necessarily a team that can light up the score sheet. And I think Carolina will learn something from that loss yesterday and will come out. And it'll be a low-scoring game again, but I think Carolina wins tomorrow.
I'll tell you this about the Island. They got arguably one of the best home ice advantages in all of hockey. That fan base, especially, used to be rabid in the Coliseum. Now, even as they moved over to their new arena, they got a good home ice advantage. So for me, that game is 2-1. Somebody's winning that game 2-1, 3-2 tops, and more than likely it's happening in overtime. For me, I think this series going 7. So if it goes 7, give me the Islanders tomorrow.
Do you guys know, why is Rant playing and not Anderson? Is Anderson hurt again?
Anderson's injured. Yeah. Tweaked groin.
Same as last year. Same as the year before. Same as the year
before. All right,
hold
on. Question for you. Hold on, guys. Question for you. If you were drafting your hockey club, right, for an NHL playoff run, and you had the number 1 overall pick, forget about the regular season, right? Number 1 overall pick, would you take McDavid or McKinnon?
McDavid.
Over McKinnon?
Yeah. And you've seen it because McDavid, you've seen, even though McDavid doesn't, in the first 2 games, didn't have a goal, he still garners a lot of attention and draws players to them. Whereas McKinnon is having 7-8 shots a night in the first 3 games and has 0 goals so far.
Well,
it's McDavid.
He just put a beauty in right now, man, and he's also got a Stanley Cup, and he plays beautiful. In the big.
I got him in the Tim Hortons along with Lowry. I got 2 guys in the Tim pool.
Everybody.
I tell you this, I'd be inclined to make McKinnon my number 1 pick in terms of guys that.
First of all, Billy, you're wrong. Marty's number 1 pick will be Justin Hall. All right, 3:30 tomorrow, Boston, Florida. Billy, go ahead.
Give me this. Give me the dog in Florida. I look for an extended series. If the series goes back to Boston 3-1, it's done like dinner, right? So for this series to go anywhere beyond 5 games, Florida's got to win. I look for them to come out and play a better game. If you watch Game 3, they decided to play hockey with 6 minutes left. They started to come on, unfortunately. I look for them to draw first blood and to control the game, and maybe with the hopefully with the Vezina caliber guy in Bobrovsky in that tomorrow. Hopefully that makes the difference.
All right, Bill, Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, it's Boston. I talked about this before. First of all, Florida does not have any goaltending. They start first 2 games of the series or 3 games of the series. They put Lyons in net instead of Bobrovsky. Now they put him in. They pulled Lyons out the other day. I just don't think they can match up against Boston. They just can't. Yes, they scored some goals late to make the score respectable, but they were never in that game yesterday, and I don't expect them to be in the game tomorrow.
All right, then another series.
So basically, hold on, Joe. Sorry. So basically, I'm telling you Florida's going to win, and you're telling me Florida's got no shot. Is that what you're saying live on the Mometu network? Is that what's going on here?
I don't think I minced words there. I think that's exactly what I said.
Joseph, this is what part I can't see. This is at the 33:02 mark. What the next time we come on?
31:05.
I can't see too good on my glass, but anyways, why don't you 31:05 the Grizzle veteran says so? Mark that time down, Joe, and replay this in a couple of days, and I'm gonna demonstrate to all the people out there why I'm the greatest of all time, Mr. Mometu. And we're going to see the Greek shine in his glory, just like I told you.
I think what I like is that you thought
the Islanders.
I told you New Jersey would win in overtime. Number one.
I thought you said. I love that you said that Bobrovsky was the guy going in the playoffs. Yet he didn't start any of the first 3 games.
Doesn't matter. He's right there starting Game 4, Marty Roberts, and he's gonna put that Florida team on his back. Look for Florida in a 7th game in overtime. You heard it here first.
Tomorrow,
look for the Leafs in 5. What?
Tomorrow, 6:30, you'll start us off. Dallas, Minnesota.
Who cares, man? I'm not even watching that series. 2-0 happening clubs. They're both going nowhere. Who's got any interest in that series whatsoever, unless you're a degenerate gambler like Marty and Jamie Roberts?
Bet Minnesota. They're up 2-1. Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, you know what? It's an interesting series because you had Minnesota wins.
What's so interesting about it?
It's an interesting series because Minnesota doesn't know who they want to put in net. One night I think it's Gustafson's his name. Then they put in Fleury, and then went back to Gustafson in Game 3. I don't think Pavelski's back yet, and to me, I said that after Game 1. That's a big loss for Dallas, and if he doesn't come back, I don't see Dallas winning this series. I think it's the Wild, and they're showing it. They got more physical play in there, and they got some talented guys as well. So I know Dallas has a pretty good goalie, but they lost 5-1 the other night.
All right, so we're going to turn our attention to the NBA playoffs, and then we'll close it out with the Blue Jays and Major League Baseball. Billy, you'll start us here. The Greek Freaks not playing. Milwaukee is down to Miami. They get destroyed today in Miami, 121-99.
Yeah, if Giannis is not the MVP of the NBA, I don't know who is. So here's what happens. With Giannis, you're the number 1 seed, right? You win 58-plus games. You take Giannis away from the lineup and you lose by 40 to Miami. I don't know. Is he important? Is he valuable to what it is that you're doing? I would suggest that he is. And again, that's not to say Milwaukee can't win a Game 4 without Giannis, but the chances greatly increase if he plays. Even if he plays at a portion of what he's capable of. Just his presence alone and the attention he draws opens it up for other guys. So again, you don't know to what degree the guy's hurt. Obviously, if he's out, there's some kind of issue there because historically he's not one of those guys that has a history of injury. So you'd imagine the legitimacy of his injury is true, right? So again, it's a difficult spot for Milwaukee, but their championship pedigree will prevail by the end of this series.
All right, Marty, anything you want to add to that?
No, like I told you before, I didn't watch a single NBA game this year. Not going to watch it at all.
I'll go to Billy's. So you take a break, and then we'll
go have a cigarette, man. Let the Greek.
I'm gonna have a smoke. Hold on one second. Let me find a cigarette here and have a smoke right here.
All right, Phoenix.
Let Mr. Mometu have the center stage for once. It's over, Joe. It was over. It was over.
By the way, Billy, we're on Roku, we're on Amazon Fire TV, also Android and Apple TV, and Samsung TV Plus. All right, there you go. But Phoenix doing a
And so
number
that
on the
series is over.
Clippers, and Phoenix doing a number of the Clippers. But I want to talk about your good friend Stephen A. Smith saying Kawhi Leonard is the most overrated guy in the world. Go. What do you think?
I've never met Mr. Smith personally. Sometimes I enjoy him. 30% of the time I enjoy him. He reminds me of he's like a mini me kind of 30% of the time. But the other 70% of the time, his takes are slightly off center. If you're calling Kawhi Leonard the most overrated player, all you got to do is kind of watch the last two games played via LA and Phoenix, and you'll get your assessment of who he is. First two games, LA carried the play in Phoenix with Kawhi arguably the best player on the court. Kawhi goes down and you lose both games by double digits. Yeah, he's overrated. Again, sometimes people would argue that guy's overrated, but nevertheless, obviously Kawhi's a vital cog to the Clipper chances to win a championship. And the minute he goes down, you saw how the series turned. That series is over. Even if he comes back, you're not beating Phoenix 3 straight games, and it's just not going to happen. And unfortunately, the experiment between Paul George and Kawhi, it's never taken flight. It's never gotten off the ground. These guys have never been healthy together, and at the end of the day, it's kind of almost all of what happened in Brooklyn. It's been a colossal failure in terms of trying to build this super team. They just can't stay healthy.
Now we're going to go to Brooklyn. They get swept away by your team, the 76ers, 96-88. Brooklyn, they're going to take a break like another guy who's taking Mr. K, who's taking a Kit Kat break from the Fired Up Network. I called Philly to go to the NBA Finals. They're on course. They did it without Embiid, but now because they swept, they get a week off. So Embiid's probably going to be back. Billy, what do you say?
Well, I think if it was a Game 7 Embiid plays, it's one of those kind of injuries that obviously is banged up. You're playing a team that you believe you can beat in Brooklyn. Game 5 is at your crib. Game 7 is at your crib. So if you're playing Game 3 and your guy's banged up, you know what you do? You tell him, go take a breather. Marty Roberts, go take a breather. We don't need you for a boat. We don't need you for this game, man. We'll call you when we need you, man. Go home, rest up, have a couple of cold ones, and then we'll call you, right? And that's exactly what happened. And again,
all right, Marty, he comes back here. All right.
Yeah.
So
Marty, go back to bed, man. The Greeks had a little go back to sleep.
There's nothing to get you into a good nap than listen to Billy talk.
all right. So Marty, you're coming back here. We're going to touch Blue Jay strike zone and a little bit baseball here with the Yankees winning Game 1. Losing today, 3-2. Great. And you know what? Let's go back to yesterday. Kikuchi. Marty, what do you want to say about arguably the number 2 starter on the Blue, or number 3 starter on the Blue Jays? Kikuchi.
Yeah, Kikuchi's been looking good. He's doing exactly what you need in that 5 spot. That's why I said if you can keep an ERA around 4, get yourself 10 to 12 wins for the year. That's exactly what they need out of that 5 hole. And that's what he's leaning towards doing right now, keeping them in games, keeping the ball in the strike zone. That's what he's doing well this year. He's not throwing a lot of balls. So if he can keep doing that, and if Barrios has figured it out, you know what? Kikuchi number 1 guy, Barrios number 2 guy.
And I like the feistiness. He's fighting with the umpire last night also. Billy, reminds me of a small freak there. Go ahead.
This genius up here in the top corner, man. This I don't want to. All right. Einstein over there has convinced, not only continues to convince myself, Blue Jay Nation, and the followers of the Fired Up Network on Mometu and other places, that the Blue Jays are on the verge and on the road to 95 wins, a pennant, and a better club. This guy over here is trying to tell me that you take away Teo, you take away Gurriel, you add Varsho, and you bring back the same bullpen, and you're a better club. This guy's trying to tell me that culture was the problem last year, why the Jays didn't go to a World Series, when in fact you won the #1 wild card, and you'd be hard-pressed this year to get 90 wins with this team that's got holes up and down the lineup. You wanted to bring in Varsho. You love him to death because he's a gritty player and what have you. Still batting .220, leaving a shit ton of guys on base, striking out left, right, and center. All right. Career .230 hitter. Man.
I got, you know what?
Guy.
I'm going to stop him here.
I'm not
Wait,
finished.
no. I listen to you, Chair. I listen to you talk.
I'm not finished.
I should send the screenshots here of everything that Billy said. I sent it to him earlier that the reason why the Jays were no good last year is you blamed it on Teo.
Joe,
you blamed it on Teo. You blamed it on Teo last year.
What a day!
Blamed it on Hernandez last year. One of the three guys. That's why. That's why.
Mr. Mometu talk.
That's why. I'm going to send the screenshots, and Joe's going to put them up there. We're all going to have a laugh at last year. You cutting up Teo, and now he's Barry Bonds.
I gotta
Give
say,
me a
wait,
break.
hold on, Billy. On Monday, when you send me some video, it has to be an MP3, MP4, and it has to be Dropbox. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. Here's the MP3, MP4, obviously. And again, I can't say it enough that in terms of the philosophy of change, one of the biggest things that came under scrutiny was the barrio and the Latin component of the Blue Jay dugout, considered immature, and every baseball pundit that had no insight into the locker room, just watch TV and watch the sunflower seeds and all this stuff. Old school guys, mostly white guys, anyways, automatically decided that this culture was not conducive to winning. I'm not finished. Automatically decided this culture was not conducive to winning, but you guys still don't remember. The culture that you guys claim needed to be broken up was winning 8-2 against Seattle. It was the bullpen that blew it. You bring back the same bullpen. Mesa's your only guy. Romano's not the greatest of closers. And you got Yimi Garcia in the 8th inning, and you want to win 95 games?
Do you ever get tired of listening to yourself talk?
Are you snorting glue in Barrie, Ontario? How in the blue hell are you going to win 95 games?
Billy, put him on mute. Or Joe, put Billy on mute. Because I think people get sick and tired of listening to Billy talk shit all the time and not knowing what he's talking about.
Say it, Marty.
I'll send you I can show everyone the text message that you said. All the stuff you say, and then you come on here and you say something totally different.
What was the biggest issue last year in the Blue Jays?
You want people to think that you know what you're talking about.
What? I'm the skipper of the Bulldogs.
That exactly was 1-0 yet.
Marty, what was the biggest issue in the Blue Jays last year? Joe, hold on.
Wait, no, but he said they lost 8-2. They're up 8-2. They lost. They up 8-2. They lost. Game 1, they lost 4-0. So it wasn't the bullpen that did. The bullpen shut down them when Manoah came out. So what was your excuse in Game 1?
Who's going to beat Castillo?
Wait. Game 2, yes, they lost it, and that's what cost the series. But they didn't win Game 1 either. So what's your point?
The point is,
what is your point? Please tell me what your point is. I'm listening.
Okay,
except telling me the same stuff as before.
My point is simple.
Wait, and you also said the Jays should pick up Castillo. Now you think he's the best thing since sliced bread. Go ahead.
First of all, you're putting words, you're moving the goalposts. I ask you a simple question.
I'll send you the text. I'll share one of the texts that you said Castillo is overrated.
What was the sore spot? If you can pick one sore spot of the Toronto Blue Jays, was it the bullpen or culture?
Oh, my gosh.
What was it?
You're gonna, you know what? Listen to me. You can't just start saying stuff just to put what you're saying.
We got 2 minutes left in the game.
You really can't. You
was
switch
it
what you want to say
pen?
just when it fits your narrative. You said last year certain things. Now you've switched full circle. Sort of like the Maple Leafs. 2 years ago, you thought they sucked. You didn't want Dubas around. Now you're his best friend.
I give credit where it's due. I call
like
it like it
you
is.
and a heavy hitter going to the movies. That's what that is.
Listen, was it the culture or the bullpen was the biggest problem? A simple question.
The culture was the biggest problem in that dugout last year. Yes, it was.
There you go. But the bullpen was okay.
The bullpen is the bullpen. The bullpen is the bullpen.
You
tell me who are they going to go out here? Who are they going to go out and get? Tell me. Who are they going to go out and get?
So what you're telling me?
I'm asking you. Who are they going to go out and get? Tell me.
Regardless of the name.
Tell me who they're going to go and get.
Regardless of the name they're going to get. I don't know.
You don't have anyone.
You don't have anyone. Get me a note in the 6th inning. You got a guy in Swanson, right? Hold on.
I got to say something. Hold on. Got to give you guys time out here. Wait.
No.
All right.
Nice, man. Carpets for life. Who cares about the carpets, Nikki Borsch, residential, commercial, otherwise? Marty, who was pitching in the 8th inning and 9th inning today? Swanson? Was Swanson anywhere?
No, he wasn't anywhere.
So what you did is you gave up your number 5 hitter for a guy that's going to pitch the 6th inning.
Billy, please don't give me that bullshit. Because you know that's for Schneider not bringing him in. So don't even try to, Billy. Don't try and
LeBron James is injured. LeBron James just went down.
The 8th inning?
Don't even act like, you brought a guy in. That was a Schneider not bringing him in. So that Swanson should have been brought in that situation. I can't help it that Schneider didn't bring him in.
LeBron James Boone bring in taken out on a stretcher.
Who cares about him either? Me and Marty are going at it here, and somebody's going down because Marty still doesn't get the point. Marty, your bullpen can't win. You gave away Hernandez for a guy that can't even pitch in the 6th inning.
You keep talking to bullpen. Who did you want the Jays to go out and get? Please give me a name. Please, anyone.
Any name. Any name.
You're the one saying it. Give me any name.
All right. I'll let you guys go at it for 2 more minutes.
You can't. It's easy to pull stuff out of the air and say,
this is you want to pull stuff?
You can't pull a name out. What name?
All right.
What name?
You know what? Give me Diaz. How's that? He's injured. Give me somebody.
Go get Hader.
Whatever. Somebody that can get you out. You think this Blue Jay bullpen's going to win 95 games? Really? You think this Blue Jay bullpen's going to win a pennant? Right? Forget about culture. Maybe that was part of it. Okay. But do you think with Mesa, this guy and the other guy, you think you're going to win 95 games, man? Are you serious? Do you really believe that?
You still haven't said who you would bring in to put in the bullpen.
I'm asking you, with this bullpen, do you think you're going to win 95 games?
You know, and I've said it before, they're going to make moves along the way to make the bullpen stronger. It's an easy thing to do.
Who are they going to get?
You just said that you could go out and get whoever you want out of the bullpen.
You just said they're going to make moves. Who are you going to get then?
They're going to go out. When there's a trade deadline, guys are done. Like if teams are out of, there's Chacin that'll be out probably sitting there, signed a contract with Arizona. Arizona's going to follow. Maybe they get Chacin from there. Maybe they just bring up Pearson. Maybe they bring up Zaluta.
All right.
There's lots of options there.
All right. So let's suppose for argument's sake, let's suppose the Blue Jays go moving forward with Meza, Richards,
Meza, not Meza. Meza.
Garcia, Swanson, and Roman. Can you win 95 games with that, Pat?
There's 2 guys that have to come out of this bullpen. 2 guys. Richards, and to me, Bass is the other one that has to come out of this bullpen. So those 2 guys get moved out. You got to remember, too, who's going to come back probably mid-July to late July.
You're counting on Green to come back.
You got Green to come in. That's going to slide in there. That will be a guy that will be in there for the 8th inning and can close out games where Romano's not doing his job.
All right.
So now you just push down to everyone to the guy that was in the 8th is now the 7th to the 6th.
All right. So let's put it this way. Blue Jays last year. Hold on, Joe, and we'll move on, Joe. Hold on. One question to Marty. So Blue Jays last year, with all the defense and everything we talked about, first wild card, 92 wins. If they don't reach that same plateau this year, can you then, at that point in time, can we say it wasn't the culture? Is that fair?
You can say it wasn't the culture, sure. You want to say it, sure. You can say it.
Is that accurate, though? Is it fair?
It probably wouldn't be accurate, but you could say it.
So this year you changed the culture, but you have less wins, but it wasn't the culture?
Okay, they could have less wins and still go further in the playoffs.
They're not going to make the playoffs in this rate. They're 4th in the East. They're the only team with a minus run differential.
We went through this yesterday. How many games have they played so far?
You think that Jays...
Wait, no, answer me. 21 games they played so far.
Yeah.
12-9.
All right.
Right? They played the Yankees.
Yeah.
They played Tampa Bay.
Okay.
They played St. Louis.
8-12.
Right?
Go on.
They're 8-12. They're 12-9.
St. Louis? Check the box score.
I don't care what the 8-12. But out of those 21 games, they played at home 6 games.
Okay.
6 games.
All right. So
6 games. So went from Dunedin to on the road for 9, came back for 6. Now they're on the road again.
Okay. Okay.
And
So,
they face Anaheim. So if you want to think that a 12-9 start with only playing 6 games at home isn't very good, then I understand why East York doesn't win very
all
many ball
right.
games.
So all right, fair enough. So here's the point.
And the team you put everyone on, the Yankees are 13-8, and
All
they're
right.
both putting anything to write about either.
Number one, you didn't hear me toot the horn of the Yankees, because if you looked at that Yankee lineup today, other than Judge and Rizzo, that's a AAA lineup. They got their own problems there. I'm talking about Baltimore that looks good. I'm talking about Tampa Bay that obviously, even at 18-3, is going to be hard to catch. Doesn't matter if it's early in the year. So it's very simple. I'm telling you that this Blue Jay team is not better than last year's team.
All right, sure. You go right ahead. You can tell me that till you're red in the face, which you are.
And again, we're never going to have any agreement here until the Blue Jays win 84 games, and then you're going to make some other excuse. Unless you fix the bullpen.
I don't backtrack. I stick by what it is. I don't just change my mind because it's going to fit my narrative like you do.
What do you mean? I changed my mind because the
Hold
facts
on,
changed,
I'm
bro.
both of you guys off. Relax.
The facts changed.
So he says.
What fact? Wait, 1 sec, Joe. What facts with Hernandez changed?
What do you mean?
He's had one time over 80 RBIs in his career, and you think that he's Aaron Judge.
You're putting words. What did I say he's Aaron Judge?
No, that's how you act. You act like they should have got Hader and someone else for Hernandez in a trade.
So what you're telling me is the Blue Jays are better positioned to pay Kevin Kiermaier for 1 year, $10 million, than to have Teo batting 5th for 13.
Oh, great. All right. Now hopefully he comes back. But look, you said they're going to win around 95 games. We're fighting about the future. I want to know how many games. Don't start up. I'm asking you a question. You're in the bullpen right now. I'm asking you a question. You're worse than Drew Ebanks. You got 10 seconds for this. How many wins will the Blue Jays get this season? If Marty says 95, what do you say?
There's no shot in hell they get 95.
All right, what do you say? I said Marty says 95.
I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. Don't ever cut me off again like that, especially when this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I've listened to this guy for 6 months telling me he'd rather have Kiermaier than Hernandez in the lineup, and they're a better team.
Wait, Billy. I never said Kiermaier over Hernandez. Where did I say that?
That's what it came down to, though, Marty.
Hey, Joe, can you tell him what I thought of Kiermaier when the move happened, please? So we can shut him up.
Listen, both you guys, you weren't, but me and Marty was on with Steve Carney, and who would know Kiermaier the best?
I've been watching baseball since I was 5. Who's Steve Carney?
I don't care whatever you're watching since you're
Steve
5.
Carney knows more about baseball than me.
You're 48 years old. You're still watching the Fred Flintstones. All right, come on. So
you're telling me Steve Carney knows more about baseball?
Yes, with Tampa Bay.
Now,
yes.
Does he ever play me Trivial Pursuit?
Yes, he. And by the way, I'm going to say this. We're supposed to be joined by Taylor Woods. Taylor Woods.
She's ducking me too. She's ducking me.
Hold on. Let's tell her the truth. Taylor Woods was waiting for this guy Greek to show up at Beansville. Where are you? She's ducking me.
She's ducking me, just like Marty's ducking the questions.
I don't duck any questions. I just give you the facts. I don't change my mind every 2 seconds.
No, first of all, you talk about changing your mind. So what am I supposed to do?
I didn't change my mind. When did I change my mind?
Yeah, but I do, and I'll tell you why. 3 years ago, Willie Nylander was a floater. This year, he's played a little better. What do you want me to do? Still ride the guy, not come off my position? I give credit where it's due. The Jays are not a better team this year, man. Case closed. They took the barrio. Right. You blame the Spanish guys. You blame the Spanish guys. You blame the home run jacket. But it's the bullpen you needed to look at.
Okay.
You like putting words in people's mouths. That's what you like. Billy, that's what you like doing. You like putting words in people's mouths. That's what you like doing.
I gotta ask this guy. Originally, I asked him. Marty says they're going to win 95 or more. How many games are they going to win? Simple question. Don't go into.
Let me think about it, man. If you're asking me a question, I got to do some computing.
14 seconds. I'm putting the pitch clock on you.
All right, 14 seconds, man. Let me think, man. Let me analyze the schedule.
You got 10 seconds now.
Look at the smoke coming out of his ear.
Gosman's going to go down too. So, 84.
Oh my gosh!
You're telling me it's 84.
Oh my gosh!
So they're going to go 84 and 78.
That's right. They're going to be the 84 and 78. That's going to mean a collapse in September. They'll be in the wild card hunt for the second wild card through August and what have you. But at the end of the year, they're going to fall apart. And again, you're going to see, everybody that's watching this, you're going to see that the problem, again, for the Blue Jays has always been, they talk about Teo's defense. Lourdes is a dummy, sunflower seeds the hair. But those guys had life. Those guys are 300 guys, man. You can't replace guys.
Okay, here we go. Who is the 300 hitter? Please tell me.
Lourdes
has never hit 300 in his life. Never. Please tell me. Go ahead. 3 years ago, you know what he told me, Joe? Wait, Billy. You told me 3 years ago, Lourdes Gurriel is a 300 average and a 30 homer guy.
Yeah.
Never has done either one of those, but go ahead.
Number one, what the guy does and what he's capable of doing, two things. He's got bat-to-ball skills that are better than Varsho's.
You got bat-to-ball skills, too.
What?
You got bat-to-ball skills,
yeah,
too.
when you got to make a joke when he's got better bat-to-ball skills. Hernandez is a better player than KK all day long, and your bullpen's the same. All you did was get whiter, man. All you did was break up the home run jacket and the barrio. You didn't get better.
I remember you not liking the home run jacket. Now because you want to use your little narrative that you're going here, you like the home run jacket. You got to stick on one side or the other.
Hey, listen.
Not bounce because you want people to like you.
I don't like a jacket when you're down 9-0.
Murphy.
Hold on.
Oh my God.
Let me ask you a question. They're 21 games in. They're 12-9. Do you expect, or did you think they're going to be 15-6?
Who, me?
No, I'm talking Billy.
Billy expected them to be 5-12 by now.
Okay, so you're 12-9, and here's what's happened for you to get to 12-9. Bichette, Chapman, and Guerrero are hitting out of their minds. You've got surprises from Kikuchi and Barrios has settled in.
Doesn't matter.
And that equals 12-9. So if that equals 12-9 for you, you think that that's going to continue the rest of the season. But you're one Gosman injury away from 75 wins.
So you look at the other way, they're 12-9, and Manoah, until today, did not pitch great. Gosman is up and down. The third.
Okay, he had one bad start. How's he up and down?
He's up and down.
He had one bad start. You call that up and down?
Today, Manoah didn't pitch well, and Romano's blowing games.
So it's a miracle they're 12-9.
Billy, if I said to you that your number one guy is going to crap the bed the first 3 starts,
yeah,
your number 3 guy is going to suck in his first outing,
yeah,
you're still going to be 12-9.
Okay.
What would you say?
I would say, you know what? That's good for 4th place in the division, and somebody else must be stepping up. So the only reason you're 12-9,
show, Joseph.
The only reason, Marty, you're 12-9 is why? Because of your man Kikuchi, the same guy you wanted to be sent away. That's why you're 12-9.
We're going to close.
Take away Kikuchi, you're 9-12, right?
All right. So we're going to close this out with Billy's new favorite sport. I'm going to talk about the Toronto FC playing Philadelphia Union.
Who cares?
MLS. What do you mean? That you have said you want to be on Soccer Show.
Who cares, man? Me and Marty are going at it. We need closure.
No. Listen, it's 11:45 here already. I have to ring the bell. It's Saturday.
We need closure, Joe.
You need closure? Okay. Here.
Who's right, Joe?
I'm unbiased.
Hold on, Joe. You're gonna put. You heard the arguments. You're Judge Joey B. Man, you've been in the business for all these years, Joe. You've been in the business for a long time. A savvy individual, well-traveled, one of the best in the business. So right now, you've heard the arguments as expressed by 2 baseball guys going at it. Who's right and who's wrong? Give the guy like that show on the thing that airtime. Put the one guy on that's right and the other guy that's wrong. Take him off. Marty Roberts got to go down and he's got to learn, man. He's got to learn over there. Look at him.
Here, I don't know what you're talking about, the Spanish guys. I'm Spanish. ¿Tú estás loco or qué? All right? So that's number 1. I don't know what you're talking about, Spanish.
Spanish? What do you mean you don't know what I'm talking about? Every guy that got traded was Spanish.
Habla. ¿Qué dijo en español?
Every guy that they got rid of was Spanish and at the end of the dugout, man.
So what?
Did you think that was a coincidence?
No, I'll admit, it's not a coincidence.
Okay, thank you for admitting it.
It's not a coincidence, but right now, as the season starts,
Varshall's better. Varshall's the greatest ever.
Who's better or who's worse?
Career 220 hitter. He's hit 20 home runs and 70 RBIs. He's the greatest.
Billy, let me ask you something. Do you think because you yell, people think you're smarter?
No, Varshall's
Because
the
I
greatest.
definitely do. I think you sound like an idiot.
Yeah, Varshall's the greatest, Marty.
I think you sound like an idiot. The
Varshall's
people in the
the
convenience store
greatest.
downstairs are going to come up and complain to you.
I don't care. Varshall's the greatest, Marty.
Like,
200,
oh my
230
God.
hitter.
I never seen anyone like this guy in my life.
Marty. He asked me my opinion. I'm biased and everything.
You know, no one has an opinion when it comes to Billy Joe. It's
No,
just
you're wrong,
Billy's
Marty.
opinion. That's it.
You're telling me.
That's it.
You're telling me that Varshall, you're touting this guy, and you told me, hold on, Joe.
Where did he
You
say
told me that Hernandez has never done anything. Varshall's career high in RBIs is 70. His career high is 20 home runs.
Wait, he's been in the league 2 years. 2 years.
All right.
2 years he's been in the league. 2.
All right.
Right? Can you see that with your eyes? 2.
Yeah. Go ahead.
2 years he's been in the league. All right. He's ahead of
How
where
old?
Hernandez was
How old
at
is
his
he?
time at any time in 2 years. All right.
How old is he, Varshall?
27, 26.
So why did it take him so long to get to the show?
What are you talking about? What are you really talking about? How many guys come in at 18, 19 years old?
All right. Hold on.
Explain to me, please.
So hold on. Lourdes can.
No, you got to explain to me. Explain to me how many guys.
You guys
come
are
in
acting like Varshall's this blue chipper, man, that he's the game changer.
No,
he's
you're
not.
not answering me. You're not answering me. How many guys come in at 18, 19 years old? Most guys that come in the league are 24, 25 years old.
All right. So
Most guys that come in.
So you're telling
This isn't the NBA.
So you're telling me Varshall's going to put up better numbers than Teo by year's end.
All right. So
I told you what he's going to do. He's going to be a 20 to 25 homer guy with 70 RBIs, play lights out defense, and be able to run the damn bases. That is what I said. Do not put words in my mouth like you like doing to make yourself sound smarter.
I'm not sounding smart.
You are. You are.
Hold on,
you don't.
hold on.
You think Hernandez had 1 year over 80 RBIs? 1 year. 1 year.
Okay.
All right.
And you think that he's the be-all and end-all and should have got any top player off of any other team. That's what you think. I think you sent me Hernandez. They should have got Kirby from Seattle for Hernandez.
Absolutely.
Not a chance.
All right, so not a chance.
So
not a chance if you hold on, Joe. So if you look at this year's Blue Jay club, if you look at that, if you look at the way it's constructed, you're telling me if you added it to do over again, you wouldn't want, you make the Varshall trade for Gurriel, that's fine. You wouldn't want an outfield of Varshall, Hernandez, and Springer with Hernandez as your number 5 guy over an outfield with KK, Varshall, and Springer as your number 9 guy. You don't think you're better?
Do you understand why? Do you understand why they lost a lot of games last year? Outside of your bullpen comments, do you understand why they lost a lot of games last year? Did you watch the games that they played and understand why they lost them?
Okay, Teo.
No, not just Teo. Base running is a big issue with the Blue Jays.
Okay.
2 of those guys are now gone.
Okay.
That were terrible base runners. Defense in the corners and the outfield, extremely bad.
Okay.
What did they correct them with? 2 stellar defensive players and can also run the bases.
Okay.
And can also bunt. This whole team can never bunt.
So
except for Biggio. Biggio can't bunt.
All right. So with these corrections, then you're telling me you got to win 95. You got a better pitcher in Bassett than Stripling by all estimation, right? You improved. So if you improve, then you got to win 95, right? Or else
wait, now that you brought Stripling up, that's a whole different thing. You told me that you wanted him back. Now he's a bullpen guy for San Francisco Giants. You're right. He was good too. You're right.
Hold on. So Stripling wasn't the best pitcher of the Blue Jays second half of the year last year? Or did I make that up?
You know what? It doesn't matter if he's your best pitcher. You know exactly what he is. He's not a freaking guy that you could give $12.5, $13 million for.
No.
He's not.
But the
San Francisco found that out. Put him in the bullpen now.
All right. Hold on.
But the second half of last year, he wasn't your best pitcher.
It doesn't matter if he was your best pitcher. You honestly think he's going to duplicate that again? Did you really think he was going to duplicate that again?
I'd rather have him for 10 than
I know, and you'd rather have Robbie Ray than Kevin Gossman. We know this.
Yeah.
All right. So Marty, before we close out, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you, and then I'll tell Greek something. Go ahead, Marty.
Old Lefty 22, Instagram and Twitter. You can follow me there.
All right. Greek, do you know what today is?
I couldn't give a rat's ass.
I want you to sing happy birthday because...
Who am I going to sing happy birthday to?
Because you can't see him. John Cena. Thanks for watching this riveting edition of Maple Leafs Forever, Blue Jay Strike Zone. Last comment, Greek. Go ahead.